So we are following breaking news this hour in former President Donald Trump's classified documents case. Judge Aileen Cannon has decided that the trial will begin on May 20th of next year, just months before the presidential election. So I want to bring in CBS News political director Finn Gomez to talk a little bit more about this. Finn, I think it was earlier this week, the judge heard arguments on both sides trying to determine when they would like to see the trial happen. Prosecution wanted it to happen in December. Donald Trump's lawyers wanted it to happen after the election. No one got what they wanted. What impact could this have on the presidential primaries?
Yeah, Judge Aileen Cannon essentially split the baby here, Anne-Marie, setting the trial date for May 20th, 2024, while months before the 2024 presidential election in November. It could be when the Republican nomination is pretty much set. That's following the first four early voting states. It's following Super Tuesday. And of course, this 2-week trial is less than 2 months after the New York criminal trial, which begins in March 25th of 2024. And that is scheduled to last 3 weeks. So you'll have perhaps like this back-to-back hearings, back-to-back trials, essentially. But I think in terms of the impact, I think by that date, by it being set in that part of the calendar, it actually helps Donald Trump's political interests. It helps his campaign's interests because of those early voting contests. I think that if it were happening a little bit earlier, or if it happened like right in the middle of those key elections, it could be more problematic, much more of a hurdle for him. But as we've seen so far, also, Anne-Marie, and you look at the polling among the base electorate, Donald Trump remains strong right now with high support from registered Republican voters.
So my follow-up question was going to be whether or not the former president would be likely to be happy about this decision. You kind of sort of answered that in a way. I mean, certainly the fundraising has been great for him on the heels of any sort of decision. He seems to be able to raise money. I'm wondering, why did the prosecution want it so early? Why did they want it in December?
I think part of that is that I think if you look at Jack Smith and the pace that he's kept, it's been faster than what may have been expected. I think they're not wasting any time. They're just getting to it. I think December also being right before the primaries, right before those, it doesn't entangle or create other perhaps logistical issues that could maybe hamper that investigation. But honestly, it is a result that really benefits Trump politically. And I think that, we've reached out to the campaign, but going into this, speaking to sources close to Trump, sources close to his campaign, this is something, while they, expected and hoped for something after the November general election, I think this is still an outcome that benefits them.
You know what I see, though, Finn? So this is going to be right in the thick of, campaign season, right? The weather's warming up.
Right.
Everyone's going to be able to sort of get out there. And once again, the former president is probably going to suck all the air out of the room, because no matter what happens, there'll be another thing that happens in the courts that we will all be talking about in relation to Donald Trump. So even if, the desire for, another candidate is to not talk about him, they're going to end up talking about him.
No, exactly. And you've seen his Republican rivals this past week. While they have not really sharpened their criticism towards Trump, they have increased their rhetoric on that point specifically. You heard Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina and ambassador to the UN under Trump. She said in an interview earlier this week that this was essentially, as you mentioned, just taking away all the attention from some of the key issues that they're campaigning around. They're campaigning or a part of their campaign platforms. So instead of talking about some of those issues that are key to Republican voters in these early voting states, it's now mainly about Trump, these investigations. And again, the reaction for the most part by the Republican base has been supportive of Trump, they've been essentially circling the wagons around the former president as these investigations, these looming investigations, these arraignments continue.
Man, oh man. Finn Gomez, thanks for jumping in front of the camera for us. Short notice, appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks, Anne Marie.